Today we will start with Modigliani's life cycle hypothesis, and then we will go into the other three models of consumption. Okay. Now, before going into Modigliani, I will just write something down which we kind of silently passed when we were studying Fisher's intertemporal choice. Okay. In Fisher's, we got this budget line equation of budget line, right? P1 C1 plus P2 by 1 plus R C2 equal to M1 plus M2 by 1 plus R. I'll just rewrite this M1 and M2 as Y's because now in these four models we will denote income by Y. So if I denote income by Y, then this equation looks like this: Y1 plus Y2 by 1 plus R. Now, in Fisher's model, we call this the present value budget line. So this was our present value budget line. What we did not say there is that this is also known as, aka also known as, lifetime budget constraint. Lifetime budget constraint. Okay. Because now we will be studying life cycle hypothesis, terming or renaming this budget line as lifetime budget constant will become important, because what Modigliani did is Modigliani extended this model, this two-period structure. Modigliani took this two-period structure and extended it to multi-period. So kind of T running from 1 to capital T periods. Okay. That's how Modigliani extended it. And obviously, if I extend it to capital T periods, then keeping rate of interest R will just make the calculation much more complex. Okay. Now, in Fisher's, we have not explicitly stated the indifference curve, but if you solve problems, then you will see the explicit, how the explicit statement of ICs changes the optimal values or optimal demand curves for that matter, or optimal consumptions. Now, in Modigliani, since it is a multi-period model, we will take a far easier structure. Okay, we will take a far easier structure. We will consider a utility function which is additive in nature to bypass the calculation complexities. We will also assume this R to be 0, again to simplify things a lot, because you know that it is difficult to work with a sum of finite GP. So we will not go into all those complexities. We will assume additive utility function, and to that extent we will not even specify any fixed structure of this utility function to keep it as general as possible at this level. Okay. So if I take a utility function which takes multi-period consumptions as its argument, and if I make it to be additive, then it simply becomes U of C of T. T runs from 1 to T. Again, I've said that we will assume R equal to 0. Now, if I assume R to be 0, then also our budget equation or budget line becomes very simple. It will become sum over CT, T runs from 1 to capital T, equal to A naught, which denotes assets, okay, plus sum over YT. Obviously, if there were any rate of interest, then we would have a sum of GP series here, right? Okay, so this is my IC, sorry, this is my utility function which will produce ICs, and this is my budget line, right? So this is my budget line. So obviously the next task is pretty simple. It is to solve the, it is to form the Lagrangian and then solve it. I will write the statement of the problem. Solving problems of constant optimization is now very simple for you. Okay. So I'll just write the statement of the problem that the consumer will face. Okay. So what is the problem? Problem of the consumer. Maximize, obviously with respect to CT, sum over U of CT, our additive utility function, subject to this budget line, right? So this is the problem that the consumer is going to solve. Maximize with respect to CT, sum over U of CT, subject to the budget line, sum over CT. Yes, here there will be a T. Here actually every time I write this notation sum over, it will mean T runs from 1 to T. Okay, so keep this in mind. It will be always sum over T runs from 1 to capital T. Okay, now if I construct the Lagrangian, and since I am maximizing, if I go into the first order condition, then it will be the following. So solving for first order condition from Lagrangian, what do we get? We get del U CT del CT, which is U dash CT, right? Marginal utility of consuming CT at time period T. Marginal utility of consuming CT at time T. So that is U dash CT equal to lambda, our Lagrangian constant for all T runs from 1 to capital T. So obviously, since there are capital T periods, I have how many FOC first order conditions do I have? I have basically, I have T plus capital T plus 1 first order conditions, right? Because since there are T capital T periods, there will be capital T marginal utilities, and there will be another condition which will give us simply the budget line again, as it always happened in Lagrangian optimization. Okay, so now we have just summed all those capital T number of first order conditions in this line. So that's why U dash CT equal to lambda for all T. Okay. So what does it say? So lambda is the Lagrangian constant, right? Lambda is the Lagrangian constant. This means that marginal utility of consuming CT at time period T will be a constant. But if marginal utility of consuming CT at time period T is constant for all T, that means that all the marginal utilities are same, right? So from going from first period to capital T period, all the marginal utilities are same. So this implies U dash C1 equal to u dash C2 equal to u dash Ct. Okay. Now, we have assumed that the functional structure of utility is additive, right? Also, we have written sum over u of Ct. That means silently we have assumed that the utility function remains the same. That is, if I am moving from period 1 to period 2, just because I am changing the period, the utility function that measures the utility of consuming C1 or C2 or Ct in that period t is not going to change. So the underlying utility function for first period, second or capital T period, they are all the same. This means that the marginal utilities, will give us that C1 equal to C2 equal to Ct. Okay, I'll go at it again. So the marginal utilities are all the same, and I have assumed that the utility function underlying this consumption are all the same. The utility function does not change from period to period. So if the marginal utilities are same, that means the argument, that is C1, C2 or Ct, which is inside, they are also the same. Okay. Now, if I put this, so this is what I got from the first capital T number of conditions. Now, if I put this, in the budget line, what do I get? So I had this. Right? Now all CTs are same. So there are capital T periods. So it will be capital T into CT equal to lambda plus sum over YT. And this will give us A naught by capital T plus 1 by T sum over YT. Right? Now, what is sum over YT? It is the sum of income that is available for all the capital T number of periods, and it is divided by capital T. So this means that this expression in this box is basically the average lifetime income. So if I separate out 1 by T sum over YT, 1 by capital T sum over Y small t, where T ranges from 1 to capital T, this expression implies average lifetime income. So we will bring in a notation. For total lifetime income, and we will write it like this: Y hat by capital T. We will write it like Y hat by capital T. Okay. Okay. So what is our Y hat? Y hat is simply sum over YT. Okay. So here I'll just write it above, where Y hat is equal to sum over YT. Okay. Now, since sum over YT, that is lifetime income, is a constant, okay, this average, it will be a constant, and the asset is fixed. I will go into deep of this statement of asset being fixed. That is, asset is fixed in the short run, and in long run it will change. But let's just say that if I consider this, then CT, which is A naught plus Y hat by capital T, this holds for all T. Okay. So let's let's look at this statement again. I'm saying Ct equal to A naught plus y hat by capital T. Now this means that Ct remains same, and which equals this value all along the lifetime. So from here we get two things. From here, looking at this equation itself, okay, looking at this equation alone, we make two observations, and those two observations are very important. So observation 1, let's write down observation 1. The first observation is something that will be useful when you will be studying other models as well. The first observation is that since Ct is fixed to this value over all the time periods, we will call this act of keeping Ct same over all t as consumption smoothing. Consumption smoothing. Okay. So what am I saying? I have not said why suddenly this term comes. I have not said that the income that the person will have is going to be same for all the periods. And obviously it is very unlikely that the income of an individual will remain same all along the period. Okay. So given this fact, when I am finding the optimal amount of consumption, I'm getting that the optimal amount of consumption remains same over all the periods. Okay. Look at this. The income may change or will change actually over the capital T periods, but consumption will not change. So this activity of keeping consumption same is called consumption smoothing. So whatever be the flow of income, consumption smoothing means I will keep, or at least try to keep, the level of consumption same over all periods. Okay. Now comes the observation 2. The second observation is actually the result of this Modigliani's life cycle hypothesis. Okay, and this is the most important statement of this model. What is it? Let's look at this equation and try to understand this observation. It goes like this: given initial wealth, since current consumption, given initial wealth, since current consumption depends only on the average lifetime income. Okay, before I continue, I will say it again. Given initial wealth, so given this A naught, okay, since current consumption depends only on the average lifetime consumption. Now this is something that we observe, that it is dependent on average lifetime income. What will happen? Any change in current income. So we said that current income is not going to be fixed or same. So there will be change. Now the question is, if the current income changes, okay, where will that extra income or the reduction in income go? I'll say it again. We saw that consumption remains same over all the periods, but we have not assumed, and this is the fact, that current income will change. So now we are asking, where will that change in current income go if consumption remains same, right? So this is the observation 2. Any change, and this is a result, any change in current income will have an effect. Any change in current income will have an effect on current consumption, on current consumption only to the extent it 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 impacts upon the average lifetime income. Okay. In short, we saw that CT is primarily a function of average lifetime income. So, if the current income changes, will current consumption change? Yes and no, in the sense that it will change if the change in current income is going to affect average lifetime income. That is, what we are saying is, if this current income is going to be if this change in current income is going to be permanent in nature, if this change in current income is going to be permanent in nature, that is, it is going to affect the average lifetime income, only then it will change the current consumption. Okay, so this is the result of this hypothesis. Now the question naturally is that if it is not changing the current consumption, if the change in current income is not changing current consumption, where will it go? Obviously, it will go to the savings. So as I said, that each of these consumption theories are basically, or alternatively, a theory of savings also. For Modigliani's, here comes the savings part. So savings ST is YT minus CT, and substituting what we have got, it will be YT minus 1 by T, sum over YT, that is our average lifetime income, and our asset divided by T, right? So this will be our savings. Okay. Now, we said that if current income changes and it is that change does not affect the average lifetime income, then it will not change current consumption. So naturally, it will change savings. From that, we get a more important version of Modigliani's hypothesis. What is that version? That version is this. If current income is high, then savings is high. So savings at period T increases when current income increases. Increases above what? Increases compared to average lifetime income. Okay. So current savings increases when current income increases compared to average lifetime income. So what Modigliani is basically saying is that if today I have an increase in income which is not permanent in nature, then that increase in income will go to my savings. That's what is being said. Okay, and this is an idea, or this result. This result is the basis of this hypothesis. So this is the basis of this hypothesis. Modigliani said that this idea stemmed from a very simple concept, life concept. And this concept is that even from our childhood, we always learn that savings is a virtue. Saving money, saving income is a good thing. And this life learning is provides this idea that whenever current income increases, which is not a permanent increase in income, that money should not be wasted in consumption. It will go into savings because savings is a virtue. And this idea of savings being a virtue and people's behavior is the bottom line, or is the base of this life cycle hypothesis. Okay. So now we will draw a diagram in which we will see how income and savings, because consumption smoothing has been done. So the two things that will change are income and savings. So how income and savings are going to change in a person's life according to Modigliani's hypothesis. Okay. All right. Again, while drawing this diagram, there is a trick. You see, if you look at this diagram in a book, it may appear to you that what we are trying to draw is a triangle. Yes, it is true, but we are not really trying to draw a very nice looking triangle. What I mean is this. First, let us mark the retirement age. Okay, retirement age. So this point basically means earning starts. Earning starts. This is a better. This is better to write than writing starting the life, because when you start your life, you just do not earn money. Now, while drawing the triangle, we'll draw it in such a manner that the vertex, this vertex will be directly above retirement age. Okay, and then this line will be far more steeper compared to this line. All right, now first we'll mark YT, that is our income, and you earn till you retire. So our income will end at the retirement point. Then we mark consumption, and since we have to consume till the end of life, so this is end of life. Since we have to consume till end of life, the consumption line will go till the end of life. So here is our income line, which stops here at retirement. Here is our consumption line, which obviously ends at end of life. So that means this box here, it denotes savings, right? Because this is consumption. And this box here, this rectangle here, basically denotes this save. So that is the idea. Okay. So individual earn less initially and more with age till retirement, and that's a fact of life, till retirement. So from the first earning day to retirement age, income, the savings occurs. Okay, so the person saves during his earning period just to dissave in between the period of retirement and end of life, so that the consumption remains constant. This constant consumption basically shows the idea of consumption smoothing. Okay. All right. Now we'll move into the role of A naught. So what is A naught? A naught is the asset. So we'll move into this role of asset, and we will see that how explaining the role of asset, we can actually explain what Kuznets found, that the short-run consumption function has an intercept, or MPC less than APC, whatever you say, and the long-run consumption function It doesn't come with an intercept. Okay. So asset is a stock concept, right? Is a stock concept. But saving is a flow concept. And you know that as saving increases with time, asset, or let's write it like this, it adds to the asset. Okay, because our analysis is based on these three lines. Asset is a stock concept and saving is a flow concept. And as savings increases with time, it adds to the asset. What this means? This means, so this implies in short run, A naught is constant, right? In short run, A naught is constant. But in long run, when income increases, savings increases, and it adds to the asset, and it adds to asset continuously, and it adds to asset continuously. So in long run, what happens is, in long run, asset goes at par with income. So in long run, asset goes at par with income, right? Okay. So in short run, asset is a constant, but in long run, income increases and saving increases, and every time saving increases, it adds to the asset. So if I take two long run points, I will see that asset is increasing with income, but that will not be true for short run. Now, taking this idea, if we draw the diagram of consumption function now, okay, taking this idea, if we draw consumption function now, how will it look? So yt here and ct here. What we are saying is that, let's say this is the short run consumption function. Now, and let's say this point A is the long run point. Okay, A is the long run point. Now, how will I get to the other long run point? From one short run to another short run, A naught increases. So from T1 to T2, A increases, right? From T1 to T2, A increases. So if I take CT2, the second short run, then definitely it will be a shift upward. Let's say that point is here, this B. So let's say B is the long run point. Then how will the long run consumption function look? It will look like this. Okay, so let us take our B here. So this is our B. Okay, so how will our long run function look? Our long run function will look like this. Okay, let me just erase the heading so you understand better. So I will go at it again. These two are short run consumption functions. Okay, since from one short run to another, asset increases I get an upward shift, and A and B are the points where the long run consumption point occurs, and the long run consumption is starting from the origin, because in the long run asset goes at par with income. So I have restored the fact that in short run MPC is less than APC, and in long run APC equal to MPC.